Today's case study is about non-orthodox apparel, a clothing company struggling with outdated service. Let's discuss how hypervisors can help. Adrian, how could hypervisors address their server consolidation needs?
Hypervisors can be a game changer for non-orthodox apparel. Imagine they can run multiple virtual machines on each of their existing servers. This allows them to consolidate several physical servers into fewer machines, saving space and reducing energy costs.
Sounds good. But wouldn't that overload the existing hardware?
That's a valid concern, Jackson. However, hypervisors offer resources management tool. Non-orthodox apparel's IT team can allocate CPU, memories, and other resources to each VM based on its needs. This ensures efficient resources utilization and avoid overloading the physical server.
So they can basically squeeze more juice out of their current hardware with hypervisors.
Exactly, Ankai. By consolidating servers, they can extend their lifespan and delay the need for expensive hardware upgrades. This aligns perfectly with their limited budget.
But wouldn't consolidating servers make everything more complex to manage?
Not necessarily, Pei Qi. Hypervisors offer centralized management tools. Non-orthodox apparel's IT team can manage all their VMs from a single console, simplifying tasks like provisioning, patching, and backups.
Boon Kun, how can hypervisors help non-orthodox apparel gain more control over their application and desktop across different stores?
Great question, Zhe Xian. Here's where it gets interesting. Hypervisors allow them to create centralized virtual desktops, also well known as VDI. Imagine all of their employees in different cities accessing their desktops through the virtualized environment.
That sounds interesting, but wouldn't that require a lot of bandwidth for remote access?
It can, Adrian. However, non-orthodox apparel can explore solutions like thin clients. These are low-powered devices that rely on the central server for processing power, minimizing bandwidth requirements. Additionally, hypervisors allow for centralized application management. They can deploy and update applications to all stores from a single location, ensuring consistency and simplifying maintenance.
So, non-orthodox apparel can not only consolidate servers, but also gain centralized control over the entire IT infrastructure.
Precisely, Jackson. Hypervisors offer a cost-effective way to maximize their existing hardware investment while gaining more centralized control over applications and desktops. However, proper planning and IT expertise are crucial for successful implementation.
Excellent point so far, everyone. Let's develop deeper into how hypervisors can specifically address non-orthodox apparel challenges.
Boon Kun, you mentioned consolidating servers. Can non-orthodox apparel consolidate all their servers from different stores into a single central location?
That's an interesting opinion, Jackson. They could create a centralized data center and use hypervisors to manage all their VMs remotely. However, this might require significant investment in high bandwidth internet connectivity between stores and central locations.
So, what if they don't have the budget for a central data center? Can hypervisors still help with consolidation at individual stores?
Absolutely. Hypervisors can be implemented at each store level. This allows non-orthodox apparel to consolidate their existing servers at each location, reducing their physical server footprint and simplifying local IT management.
Boon Kun, earlier you mentioned security concerns with centralized desktop VDI. How can non-orthodox apparel ensure a secure VDI environment?
That's a crucial consideration, Pei Qi. Here are some key security measures. Multi-factor authentication implements multi-factor for accessing VDI desktops, adding an extra layer of security. Moreover, network segmentation, which segments the network within the hypervisor to isolate VDI traffic from other network activities. Moving on, data encryption, which encrypts data at rest and in transit to protect sensitive information, and lastly, regular security updates, which ensure all VMs and the hypervisor software are updated with the latest security patches.
We talk about cost saving from server consolidation. Are there any other cost benefits to consider for non-orthodox apparel?
Yes, Ang Khai. Hypervisors can help reduce software licensing costs. With VMs, they can purchase license based on the number of VMs running specific software, potentially saving money compared to individual license for each physical server.
Boon Kun, you mentioned centralized application deployment. Can hypervisor also help with a disaster recovery for non-orthodox apparel?
Absolutely. Hypervisors allow for easy VM backups. In case of a hardware failure at the store, non-orthodox apparel can quickly restore the affected VM from a backup at another location, which minimizes downtime and data loss.
Remember guys, a very important point. Hypervisors are a tool only. Their effectiveness depends on proper planning and IT expertise. Non-orthodox apparel will need to assess their specific needs, IT capabilities, and budget before implementing a hypervisor solution.
Okay guys, so we have explored how hypervisors can benefit non-orthodox apparel. Now let's specifically discuss Type 2 hypervisors. Considering their situation, Adrian, what are some general advantages of Type 2 hypervisors for non-orthodox apparel?
Type 2 hypervisors are a good fit for companies with existing operating systems, Boon Kun. They run directly on the host OS, allowing non-orthodox apparel to leverage their existing Windows or Linux environments without needing a complete overhaul.
Yeah, that makes sense. But wouldn't Type 2 hypervisors have limitations compared to Type 1 hypervisors dedicated to virtualization?
You're right, Jackson. Type 2 hypervisors generally offer less raw performance compared to Type 1 hypervisors. However, for non-orthodox apparel's needs, focusing on cost effectiveness and leveraging existing hardware, a Type 2 solution might be sufficient.
So Type 2 hypervisors could be more affordable option for non-orthodox apparel, right?
Well, precisely, Ang Khai. They wouldn't need to invest in additional hardware license for a dedicated hypervisor operating system. Additionally, Type 2 hypervisors often have simpler management interfaces, potentially reducing training costs for their IT staff.
This sounds promising, but wouldn't Type 2 hypervisors inherit security vulnerabilities from the underlying host OS?
That's a valid concern, Pei Qi. Security is paramount. Non-orthodox apparel's IT team would need to prioritize keeping their host OS updated with the latest security patches. Additionally, implementing strong access control within the virtualized environment is crucial.
Boon Kun, earlier we discussed centralized desktops, also known as the VDI. Can Type 2 hypervisors support VDI for non-orthodox apparel?
Technically, yes. However, VDI with Type 2 hypervisors might not be ideal for non-orthodox apparel. Since Type 2 hypervisors share resources with the host OS, performance for resource-intensive applications on VDI desktops could be affected.
So, what would be the best use case for Type 2 hypervisors for non-orthodox apparel?
Type 2 hypervisors could be a good fit for consolidating their existing servers at individual stores. They can create separate VMs for specific tasks like running their online store platform, inventory management software, or point-of-sale systems.
It's important for non-orthodox apparel to weigh the pros and cons of Type 2 hypervisors against their specific needs. They might need to consider if the cost saving and ease of use outweigh the potential performance limitation compared to Type 1 hypervisors.
We've seen how virtualization can benefit companies like Softtek Inc. and non-orthodox apparel. But is it a one-size-fits-all solution? Let's discuss the limitations and challenges of network virtualization. Boon Kun, what are some potential drawbacks?
While virtualization offers flexibility, it can introduce complexity. Managing a virtualized network requires additional expertise and tools compared to a traditional physical network.
That's a good point. What about performance concerns, Zhe Xian?
Virtualization adds another layer of abstraction. There's a possibility of performance overhead if the undying hardware resources are insufficient to handle virtual machines effectively.
Exactly, Zhe Xian. Resource allocation becomes crucial. Improper allocation can lead to performance bottlenecks within VMs.
Security is always a concern. How does virtualization impact network security, Adrian?
Virtualization introduces new attack surfaces. Security vulnerabilities within the hypervisor's software or misconfigurations in VMs can compromise the entire network.
We discussed cost savings for non-orthodox apparel. Are there any potential cost considerations for virtualization?
Yes, Pei Qi. While virtualization can lead to long-term savings, there are upfront costs. Implementing a hypervisor solution requires investment in hardware, software license, and potentially additional training for IT staff.
So, virtualization isn't a magic solution for every organization.
Not necessarily, Jackson. The decision depends on several factors. Organization with limited technical expertise or tight budget might find the complexity and cost barrier outweigh the benefits.
However, for organizations like SoftTech, struggling with integration challenges, or non-orthodox apparel seeking to maximize existing hardware, virtualization can be a game changer for them.
So to summarize, virtualization is a powerful tool but not universal. Virtualization offers numerous benefits like increased server utilization, improved flexibility, and simplified management. However, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Organizations need to weigh the potential limitations against their specific needs.
That's right. One of the limitations that needs to be taken into consideration is the cost. Virtualization can be expensive initially due to hardware upgrades and software license. Smaller organizations with limited budgets might need to consider the cost-benefit ratio.
Besides that, from a complexity standpoint, managing a virtualized network requires some technical expertise. Organizations with limited IT resources might struggle with an additional workload.
Adding on to Boon Kun and Zhe Xian's point, virtualization introduces new security considerations. Organizations need to prioritize strong access controls, regular security updates, and monitoring of virtual networks. Not to mention the performance aspect. Overloading a physical server with VMs can lead to performance issues. Careful resource allocation planning is crucial.
So, the bottom line is, for organizations with the resources and technical expertise, virtualization can be a powerful tool to optimize their networks and improve IT efficiency. However, a thorough assessment of needs and limitations is essential before making the decision to virtualize.